All right, everybody, welcome back to Scratch the Vinyl. You've made it back for yet another awesome episode, and I can't think of a better one than this one right now, right here in the Love Dungeon, in the studio. I've got a guest on location here, and I am pumped about it. He's a fellow member of, recently too, fellow member of the Broken Hearts Club, and what I mean by that is, if I haven't told you before, I'll tell you right now, I have heart problems. I'm not afraid to tell everybody about it. I want everybody to make sure that they're taking care of their heart. But my friend here, my guest, he just recently experienced a massive, to say the least, heart issue. And he is now nursing himself back to regular health and getting himself kind of back to it. So I'm not even going to dive into the weeds too much on this one. Let's bring our guest on, Richard Bretta. Richard, how you doing?
Hey guys, how are you?
So, Brooke, you know Richard pretty darn well, and I could tell that you're chomping at the bit to to talk to him here. So, how the heck do you know Richard?
And I've known Richard for a while, many years. Kind of stemmed back with bands and our friend Zach that we interviewed a few weeks ago, and then I met him through Flannel Channel, and then Zach got asked to go to New Jan Bradys, which is one of the bands that Richard was in, and I got to go to lots of practices and tell him to eat the mic. You got a beautiful voice. Eat the mic, Richard. He was probably like, could you please not bring her?
Randy, you also know Richard pretty well in your own way. So tell me, everybody seems to have a brush with Richard, and now this is my brush with him on the show.
Yes, I've known Richard a long time. It's great to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming into studio today.
You too, brother.
I'm pretty sure me and Richard go back to the old bowling alley days and rock and bowl and all that fun stuff. So it's great to see you.
You too, brother. My brothers worked for Randy when he owned the Gateway Bowl, and Randy was so sweet to let us start a no-tap league on Monday nights, and we took what is notoriously the slowest day of the week, and we had a full league for years and years, Randy. The best times, dude.
Oh, those were really the good times, and God, it seems like ancient history now. It's like 30 years ago now. Those were really good times, and I always look back on all that with very fond memories.
Oh, you guys are working with Madsen's now, and it brought back those memories of when occasionally you would throw that rock and bowl thing, and the Creed cover band played out their Seed, and dude, the best times. I'm not kidding.
No, I know it. I talked about that last week when we did our interview with Brady and Sarah. And
it was great.
It was very exciting to kind of the glimpses of the things we used to do and how much fun that was. And we're bringing it back. I tell you what, talk about an idea that's taken 30 years to transform, but it's coming back.
Well, I'm excited. They actually reached out to me when they proposed the idea with the Jan Bradys, but secretly I knew we only had 2 gigs left, and we never got there, but maybe down the road we'll get out there.
Well, fortunately, I have had my few opportunities to see the new Jan Bradys. In fact, you guys performed for my class reunion last time, so
you did.
I always appreciate that as well. Thank you, guys.
Out on West O, that was a blast too.
I know, Richard, I know that there's a big benefit coming up, but I want to talk to people. I'd love to get your side of like what happened. What's your side of the story on what happened to you when it came to? So tell me what happened when you had these heart issues and how you're doing now, and then we'll talk about the benefit.
So about a year ago, I was having some shortness of breath, and I went to my doc, and I'm like, hey, can't breathe. We had been performing more than the band normally does. I think we had 3 shows in a month, which, as Brooke knows, that's a lot for the Jan Bradys. And I'm also working with this other new project. We might talk about it later, but I thought maybe I was just overdoing it vocally and challenging myself. Well, they sent me to the Heart Institute, full workup. I mean, the full workup. No issues. Go on your way, young man. Well, I still kind of struggled to breathe, and about 5 weeks ago now, to the day, I was down fishing in Missouri at 11 o'clock at night on a full moon night, beautiful night. I just dropped dead in the boat of a heart attack. Massive widowmaker. My buddy in the boat, Ken, I've been fishing with Ken for 30 years now, on and off. He worked at Mercy Hospital for 20 years. He had the peace of mind, the presence to call my wife, who was an RN. My wife talked him through, what to do for me. Ken had called 911. By the time we got to the boat dock, there was an ambulance there. We're 2 hours from any hospital, right? The guy in the ambulance, they actually had the technology, which is kind of rare, to kind of get me going. They could tell it was a STEMI, is what they call it, which is a massive heart attack, rather than just your garden variety, right? Baker's dozen, Bob. And they already had a helicopter on the way, and the ambulance took me up the hill to the VFW. I was from dropping dead in the boat to surgery within 40 minutes. And I'm here to talk about it, guys. It's been really stressful and taxing on my already fragile brain, and I'm just getting through it. I want to get back on that stage, and I have 3 beautiful kids and my wife and my beautiful friends, all of you guys, that I couldn't be more grateful. And Cain knows this. So having gone through this, it's been just a strange turn of events. I am healthy. I appear healthy. Everything showed healthy, and I had 0 warning, not 1 ounce of warning. We kind of want to raise some awareness, and that's part of this benefit. And I'm just here to talk about it. So,
wow, man, that's an amazing story, and a big shout out to all the people in the medical community and the EMTs and the people that go out and save lives. Man, so happy to have you still around, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're very, very lucky, and it really makes you appreciate life. I mean, that's what I found, is I wasn't appreciating life when things happened to me. I had a different situation. I had, a horrible heart arrhythmia that they couldn't control. I now have a pacemaker. I had heart failure. I had near life-threatening heart failure at one time, but medication has made it better and everything. And the thing that I found is, one, I start to look at life differently, right? I look at the trees shimmying and shaking, and I really appreciate what I'm seeing. I appreciate those moments with my family. But the thing that I found the most as a music fan and as a musician is I started to really appreciate music and what it does for me to get my mind off of, you and I were talking before the show, and we talked about the anxiety and, how do you get rid of the anxiety and all that? And I can tell you with wholeheartedly, I do it with music. I do it with creativity, and just keep creating, keep listening to music. And there is something about those vibrations that just soothes your soul, and it makes you feel like everything's going to be all right. But man, we're so glad that you're still here.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm with you 100%. I've listened to you guys, your podcast, since day one, especially with Brooke and Randy being my old friends, and Cain and I are getting to know each other. And you always hit on that, music for the soul. And Brooke, you and I, this is why we resonate and connect, and we're such good friends, is we feel things a lot different than most people, especially being musicians. And this has enhanced that for sure. But I'm telling you, I've had that awareness with music for 55 years now. And it's just, we think a little different, all of us weird music guys.
It does show when you do play, you put your heart and soul into it. And I love watching you perform and knowing who you are even, and seeing you perform. It even amplifies the coolness of you. Like everybody, I swear to God, I think everybody in Lincoln knows you, because you were like, hey, what do you need? I need, you're always there to help people. I, not going to lie, have looked at Richard and I'd bat my eyes and I'd say, there's a fundraiser. Could you maybe want to perform at it? And he'd go, yes, Brooke. And he would just do it for me and for the cause, because he's just you are a kind person. And anybody that knows you, they will agree with me 100%. And I know that you are having a fundraiser for different, things that had happened. I mean, you had to have a helicopter, correct? That had to come in and get you, and insurance doesn't really pay for that. And so tell us about this fundraiser, because I know there's probably so many people a part of this, because we are so grateful you are here on this planet still.
You're going to choke me up now. Stop that. I have been very reluctant to let this happen because of stupid pride, but then I look back and the things I have done for everybody else that I've done things for are coming to me. It's like let this happen. And self-employed, I'm not a rich guy, but I'm wealthy with the people that I know and my circles, and I'm going to let it happen. Took me the whole 5 weeks to really embrace this, but people can come even if they're not donating to my cause. Just the awareness and being there is going to feed my soul, right? And we all need each other, especially now. The world's really divided for whatever reason, especially lately. The pulse of America right now is so weird, and I think we all need each other more than ever. Whatever you believe and whatever happens that night financially, so what? I need everybody. Yeah. And Cain and I talked about this anxiety, and I don't sleep at night now because I'm not sure if I'm going to wake up. It's hard to explain that if you haven't gone through it, but I lay down and I'm like, was that the last time I kissed my little 4-year-old goodnight? It's been tough, and I'm leaning on guys like Cain and you guys, of course, and I'm going to let this happen because I just think we need a big old fantastic party.
Where's this going to go down? We want to go so bad. Like, I want to invite the entire state of Nebraska.
He's due. It's December the 12th at Tanks South. Todd has opened his facilities, and I'm really praying that we get Matt Leonard on sound for us. And plus, he's just a sweet guy. He's been on your program, and I connected with him when we played out there, and they were so good to us. And they're opening their facility for us to do this. And December the 12th, I think around 7 p.m. And the guys from Hell to Pay, which is my favorite local band. If you've never seen them, get out. And they're the sweetest guys in rock and roll. I can attest to that behind the scenes. They're going to provide entertainment. Dr. Rob Rhodes, who opened the Clinic with a Heart here in Lincoln, kind of fitting. He's kind of the spearhead of this all. He's a good friend of mine. He's in charge. So if you want to help with this at all, reach out to Dr. Rob Rhodes. I can put anybody in touch with that guy. And I just think it's going to be a blast, and it's going to be what my soul needs, and we'll rock it.
Yeah, you listeners out there, you have to get onto this benefit. You guys have to go. When I was having my issues, I can tell you that I didn't want anyone to do a GoFundMe or anything like. I've never been the type that wanted any of that.
Right.
But family members did it for me, and it floated us for months when I had no income. I mean, I went from being a career electrician to the breadwinner of the family to having nothing, to taking care. I mean, I have a 5-person family, 2 dogs, a bunch of critters. They're all depending on me, and my funds stopped. And I was a 3-job guy. I was always moving from job to job, and if it wasn't for the kindness of people, strangers, and family, I would have never made it. So, Richard's not here begging for coin. Richard just wants you to come and enjoy yourself.
Have a good time.
Have a good night. Enjoy music and just revel in life and how beautiful it is. Mm-hmm. Enjoy the music. But by God, guys, come out, come to the benefit, come hang out and donate money if you can. If you can't, then just come give him a pat on the back and tell him it's going to be okay.
Be amazing.
Well, why don't we have our listeners, if they'd like more information or would like to donate or have a way of getting involved, have them reach out to our email address here at Scratch the Vinyl and be a part of this if you can.
That email is scratchthevinylpodcast@gmail.com. So get a hold of us, get a hold of the person that Richard has mentioned, and let's make it a great event, everybody.
Well, I do want to since we're on this subject, I do want to give a shout out. I also got a call late last night from one of my aunts, very close family, to let me know that she's going in for heart surgery here in a couple of weeks as well. And it just seems kind of timely to kind of be touching on this subject, but I know she listens to the program, so I want to give her a shout out that we're all going to be praying for her. And again, I can't say enough about the medical community and what they're able to do now, when it comes to the heart. And man, you two are like your 2 stories are like the perfect example of the amazing things that they can do now. And Richard, seriously, my friend, let this happen. I've been around this community of people for, over 30 years in business. I also can't say enough for all the people that usually come out just to volunteer, to donate, to just the entertainment, to kind of raise spirits. I think that's probably one of the reasons we do this podcast, is because there's so many good people here in Lincoln, and it doesn't matter what tragedy, they just seem to come and rally around our community. And I can't say enough for what they've done over the years. And this is a great opportunity for them to come out and help you in this cause.
I agree, Randy.
Richard, you have helped so many people. I need to get this very clear. You have helped a ton of people, and you deserve this. You deserve it. And I know that these people all around you love you so much. I mean, their hearts literally are full of love for you. And we appreciate everything you've done for us as well in the community. You are one of those rock stars, for real.
Grateful for those words, guys. And Brooke's been trying to get me on this show since episode 1. And it sucks that we're talking about this. I'm going to let it happen, guys. It's just, my soul needs it more than anything, I am the only one that works in my house, and we have a 4-year-old, and I am laid up till at least January with this cardiac rehab, and I'm going to let it happen. So bring her in.
Well, she has an issue with her aorta and kind of the rhythm stuff that you were talking about, and they're going to go in and try to fix it. And, I could tell she was a little worried about it. I think just like you're saying, anytime you deal with this kind of stuff, you really don't know what to expect. And you kind of feel like you're in the hands of God a little bit, and you have a different perspective on things. I think we just have to realize that life is short and you have to make the most of it. Here's this opportunity for everybody to kind of show you that, look, man, we're glad to have you around. I'm looking forward to it. I think you're going to be very surprised. I think that's really the case, is you're going to be really surprised how many people come out and support you in this cause.
Absolutely. And I think that, for your aunt's sake, we're two guys who are showing you these cardiologists are pretty darn smart people, and so lean back, listen to what they're saying, and they'll get you. Science is so amazing out there. And like me, for example, I have a machine in my body right now that's running my heart 100% at all times.
Amazing.
And so, yeah, and here we are talking about it. I'm doing pretty well for a guy. I have my struggles, I have my days. But the thing is it's kind of like, when I think about it, though, it starts to turn me in the fact that I think about like how big rhythm is to everybody, right? And for me, it's literally pulsing my heart. And I can't, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting teared up talking with having Richard here. It's a hard thing. It really is. But I want you guys to show up for him. And I think we should try now to kind of do the scratch the vinyl thing. Let's now take something that happened that was sad for us, and let's make it a positive. And let's do what Richard and I did, which was we sat here for an hour before the show and we just talked about life and music. So I think this is a great place to scratch the vinyl, and let's jump to Richard, how you started music, and let's think about all the good times and just get to the rock and roll of it, shall we?
Let's do it. So my introduction to music was, I was, Randy probably remembers the skating rink there off of O Street and 48th. And we'd go to the skating rink as kids, and all these older kids dressed up like the guys from Kiss. And I'm like, those are my people. And we got our first Kiss record. And I come home one day, and my older sister, she's got this album, Black Sabbath Paranoid, and she plays the first track, Paranoid. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm 10 years old, right? I'm like, that's cool. Second track, Iron Man. And that's it. I'm done. I'm like, what the hell is that? And that's who I am, right? Further on down the road, it was nothing but vinyl in the 70s. 8 tracks were sort of going out. That shows you how old I am. I started buying albums for artwork. So I'm buying like Iron Maiden and the first couple Iron Maiden records, and now I'm a metalhead. born and bred. And so I had the fortune of my sister's a metalhead. My older brother, Dan, was a punk. So I'm exposed to all that, right? And secretly at home, I've discovered new wave. But I went to Waverly High, and boy, you didn't admit you were a new wave lover, or you might get tuned up outside the school. So I had it all, right? And my folks were into Johnny Cash. I had an uncle that played in Glenn Campbell's touring band. We grew up going to family reunions listening to that kind of gospel music too, right? So we clicked to the 90s. I never joined the high school band. I wasn't musical at all in high school. Click to the 90s, the local scene is incredible here. You have bands like The Millions who achieved some national success, right? I don't know if you remember The Millions, Randy, but incredible. My favorite local band of all time. And to come full circle, my wife is now taking guitar lessons from Harry Dingman, the guitar player for The Millions, who I just worshiped. And bands like Heroes and Villains, and I'm going downtown to Hangar 18 and the Hurricane to see these bands, and Duffy's and Knickerbockers, as Cain and I talked about. And I was in a punk rock band that played at all those places eventually, but I just thought to myself, I'm missing out. I need to be the guy on the stage. So I go and buy a drum kit, never played a note. I taught myself to play the drums in a week. And all of a sudden I'm in a band with my buddy Cole, who is the only one that would tolerate my drumming. They threw a microphone back there so I could do backup singing. And within 2 weeks' time, I'm fired as the drummer and made the lead singer in the late 90s. And that's where I've always called home for 30 years now.
Isn't that crazy? It's been that long.
Yeah. So that's the long story short. There's a ton in between.
Well, I want to say first, of course, I love that story because, brother, secretly, you are not alone.
We had to keep that stuff on the down low.
I had a lot of friends. I was kind of exposed the same way to that kind of the heavier metal stuff. But secretly, when the new wave stuff came out, which the girls were the ones that kind of led me to that,
yeah.
I was like, wow, I kind of like this, but boy, everybody, disco sucks, or there were a lot of labels back then. If you go, no, I kind of like that new Adam Ant album. And they're like, what?
Huh?
I love The Cure. They're like, what are you listening to? But secretly, they were all listening.
Dude, when Kiss put out I Was Made for Loving You.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I was in heaven. I'm like, my metal rock band Kiss has gone disco.
Disco, I know. I'm like, man, I love this. And they're like, oh, Kiss has gone disco. They suck. And I'm like, oh, come on.
Kiss is dead.
I just love touching back to those days because I think that's what makes guys like me and you appreciate the transition of music over the years. We've kind of allowed ourselves to open up to a lot of different stuff. It's funny that kind of whatever mood you're in, you can really, there's so many great bands and music you can go back to, and it just kind of brings back some good fun memories. At least it does for me anyways.
Oh yeah, it opens. I can open any door on any day for any mood. And I'm into classical George Winston on the piano, and the best show I've ever seen, the best concert. And I'm like Cain, I've been to over 1,000 shows easily. My list of bands I haven't seen is shorter than the list of bands I have seen. Alison Krauss and Union Station, the best thing I've ever seen in my life. And I got to see David Gates from Bread back in the 2000s perform with the Omaha Symphony in a small room. Those are my top two shows of all time, right? But I'm known as this metal guy and this rock and roller, but the two shows that have really touched me are nothing like that. Good to just any day, anytime I can open any door. So,
all right. I think there is no proer move than to talk about our local sponsors, run those commercials, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation with our guest, Richard Bretta. Ahoy, mateys! Christopher Columbus here. You know me. I discovered America, or at least that's what the history books have been saying for years. Anyways, I have a little confession to make. My compass quit halfway through the trip, and I got lost at sea on the way there.
Ahoy, Captain. What direction should we point the boat?
Shut up, you fool. I'm in the middle of a commercial here. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, yes. When we arrived on land there, the natives were all decked out in their cool Viking gear. They said these big, smelly, bearded guys came, hung out, then split with all their cool stuff.
Aye, it was a weird day.
That could have been our cool stuff. We could have claimed all this great treasure and all this pirate's plunder.
But, sir, how will we steer the boat if we don't have a compass?
Well, this next trip is going to be different. I'm heading to Sly Ink Tattoo to get a compass on my hand. After that, everything is coming up Christopher Columbus.
Ahoy, sir. That new ink looks great on you. After I swapped the poop deck and greased the hootenannies, I think we're going to be back to speed and... Oh, no.
What is it now, you buffoon?
It appears as if America's shores are just on the horizon.
What? How could this be? I've been pointing my arm in the same direction for days. Well, looks like this tattoo compass is broken too. Guess I'll have to head back to Sly Ink for that dolphin lower back tattoo I've been wanting to get. Well, looks like our native friends are waving us in, but oh, wait, they don't look very happy. Well, until next time, friends, if there is one. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get ready to rumble with the Ultimate Beard Care Showdown. Introducing our headliner, the one, the only, Squatch.
Oh, yeah, Mean Jim. Squatch in the house, and I'm here to tell you about beard products that'll make your whiskers the talk of the town. If your beard's ready to take on the world, you need the power of our beard balms, butters, and oils, brother.
That's right, Squatch. Let's kick things off with the Beard Balm of Legends.
This beard balm is like a body slam for your beard. It tackles those wild hairs and smooths them out, making your beard look like $1,000,000. No sweat, brother.
What's the scoop with the beard butter?
Oh, brother, it's a game changer. This butter makes your beard softer than a cloud and as easy to manage as a well-oiled wrestling machine. Plus, it's got a scent that's as sweet as victory. Oh, yeah.
And let's not forget the beard oil.
The beard oil is the final knockout punch. It hydrates, shines, and smells like a championship belt made of cedar and pine. Your beard will be the 1, 2, 3 of any match.
Where can our fans score these unbeatable products?
You read my mind, brother. Head on over to elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and grab your beard gear. And listen up. Use the code SUPERSHOW and get a jaw-dropping 20% off. That's right, 20% off. Your beard's about to go from zero to hero, brother.
That's elegantsasquatchco.etsy.com and use your code SUPERSHOW for 20%. Don't wait, make your beard the ultimate champ today. All right, everybody, and now our local roundup. Let's see what's going on with our local sponsors. First off, we have Gray's Keg. Gray's Keg is having a massive, massive weekend this weekend when it comes to entertainment. Yes, they're entertaining you guys. They're doing it all. First off, on Friday, when this comes out, Friday night at 8 p.m., they have a Twisted Chrome CD release party with guests Brandy and the Soul Jumpers. It's going to be bumping, everybody. You want to get there. Go celebrate the CD release of Twisted Chrome and enjoy yourselves. Then Saturday, Twisted Chrome comes back, and they're going to be there with Hooked and the Replicants. And this is going to be a huge benefit for the Brave Animal Rescue and also for Nora's Fund, which helps with the emergency vet work. Go help those animals out. This is a Stargazers event, and it's going to be out of this world. It's going to be 6 p.m. to 1 a.m., everybody, $5 cover. And really, honestly, that is nothing for all the entertainment you're getting there. Also, we have at Madsen's Bowling and Billiards. That's right. Madsen's B&B this Friday. They're having Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks returns. They're coming to knock your socks off, and they're going to be there to entertain you all night long, or at least until the management tells them to leave. So get to Madsen's Bowling and Billiards. Also, Roots Music Shop, everybody. Don't forget about Ryan. Don't forget about the best music shop in town. They have vinyl records, which we love. They have instruments, buy, sell, and trade. They fix your guitars. They do it all there. Go there, see Ryan, tell him that Scratch the Vinyl sent you. And now let's get back to our guest, Richard Bretta.
You had any band still around, not whatever, doesn't matter, that you could be the lead singer or drummer, who would it be?
I would want to sing for the Tragically Hip out of Canada. Nobody knows that band. And it's a shame if you don't know that band in the States here, but I would want to be the singer in the Hip, hands down.
Well, that's how we know Richard's a listener to the program, because he was ready for you, Brooke.
Yes. And people always say, I'm waiting for that question. Or what's the craziest thing that's ever happened when you are on stage? Because I know I've had bra stories. I've had weird experiences that they've talked about. I want to hear it. Like, do you have like a crazy story that
we played the Grove a lot, right? And back in the day, the strippers would also work at the Grove while you would perform on a little side stage. That's how old I am. It was really distracting. The strippers they'd cruise by the stage in their half dress, and as you're up there singing, and you try to stay focused, and yeah, they'd throw the bra and panties. But I did have an incident, and I know you guys talked about this maybe just 2 weeks ago with one of your guests about playing. You're sick and you have to play. Well, I had a kidney stone, and we were playing at the Grove, and I had a little bucket that I would get sick in between songs, and it was Bondo Jovi, and it was a huge draw. It was the Blaze 25th anniversary show, something like that. The place was overflowing packed, and we were the band that night, and I had a kidney stone, and we played it, and I've never been that sick on stage, and nobody would have known it. The show went on.
I don't know how you guys do that. The stories I hear about, I had the flu, I had whatever, all of this crazy shit. And you guys like, no, I got a bucket. Everybody has a bucket.
You never wanted to be known as a band that ever canceled a gig, because the town, Cain and I discussed this is the smallest big town that there is.
Yeah.
And if you canceled a show with somebody, odds are you were going to have trouble getting booked somewhere else. It didn't matter if you were deathly ill, a death in the family. Back in those days, if you canceled a show, you would have trouble getting booked.
I agree with that, but I now feel like you guys are seasoned and you have so many friends that are in bands, and I've witnessed you guys like, hey, Craig can do it, or Steve, or Fred, they can come in, and that's the cool part about your guys' community and all of the musicians, is that you guys kind of help each other out as well in that sense, because for one, no one wants to shit their pants on stage. So, your best buddy is going to help you out and maybe, play bass, I think that's cool. I've witnessed that with all of you. And you guys play together just as well as if it's your own band. It's because you guys are all so close. And that's another reason, for having fundraisers and playing at cool events. And, it's just about you guys being together, and we appreciate that too, but hopefully you don't have another bucket.
To touch on that a little, the Jan Bradys, we were a band for 10 years, and our last show was post heart attack for me. And a buddy of mine flew up from Texas to sing the gig, because I can't perform right now. That it's doctor's orders, He flew up from Texas to cover our last gig, a gig that I couldn't even attend, Talk about stepping up. I mean, it's Corey, Casey Bach's best buddy. he flew up from Texas to do this private gig for us. That shows you how close we all are. So,
And you're very loved in this community all around. I mean, all around the United States. I mean, you got people everywhere. You're a good person. You're a good musician, and you definitely can rock the stage for sure. So, yeah, I can't wait to see you guys perform again.
You're going to feel fantastic when you can start to play out more. Like, I thought it was over for me. You know, like when I did this benefit, I said to myself, I'll never be able to hold a guitar for that long and perform. But I'll be damned, there I was up there for a good cause. You know, we only did 6 songs, but I think I could have gone maybe a little more. But man, it's just those baby steps. You're going to get there, and it's going to feel amazing.
it'll feel different, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you have another band that's kind of, I don't know if you guys have played anywhere yet. We, with Chris Scheides and all those guys, and we kind of talked about it with him. And I just want to hear, like, what's going on with that now?
So this will get Randy excited. It's an 80s new wave alternative band exclusively, and we're called Flux Radio. And I have magically, I don't know how I did it, I scored 2 of the guys from Flannel Channel, Chris Scheides, Greg Whitfoth on guitar. I scored the guitar player from Interstate Zero, Greg Parrott, a drummer, Josh Harvey. One of the city attorneys plays keyboards for us. He's out of his mind talented. And it's nothing but 1980 to 1989, alternative, new wave. We've been practicing for 2 years, polishing this project. And I think it's phenomenal. It's one of the coolest things I've been a part of. And it's set to production, video production. So it's taken some time to really roll out how we want it to roll out. But you only get one chance to roll it out. So it's all got to be right. And everybody's like, when's it going to hit? It'll hit when it's ready. But we're excited. And you'll see it in 25 for sure.
Well, that does excite me because, you know, those guys are good friends of mine as well.
You bet.
Little shout out to the Almost 7 guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Interstate Zero guys. A couple bands that I love to promote and would go to see all the time. Man, that's a good group of guys right there. I mean, I've secretly been pushing for a reunion, but it sounds like this is kind of it. Maybe it's just getting them all together in a different way. So, I'm excited now.
Yeah, we've kept it off the radar because I kind of want to keep that pressure off of rolling it out too early, but it is phenomenal. And we're doing songs. I mean, we're doing Duran Duran and Tears for Fears and Talking Heads and the things that I secretly loved. And yeah, look at Randy. He's excited.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh my God.
We're doing New Order, and
I've seen the set list. I got the honor right backstage. Basically, I got the honor of him showing me the set list and what they've been working on. I mean, when they unveil this thing, if you can't get excited about this band, then just stay home. All right, just sit down and watch your whatever it is. Watch Murder, She Wrote on Pluto, or do whatever it is you do, but just stay home.
This is definitely a exclusive for Scratch the Vinyl right now. Holy cow.
Yeah, and I'm going to say something, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Cain, that he showed you, because someone showed me a little bit of the videos, and they're like, don't tell anybody that I showed you this. And I'm not going to out him, but it was freaking amazing. I'm like, holy, this is going to be on a huge screen. I mean, there's no words to describe this, what this is going to be.
Richard, I want to tell you something. So recently I've been fortunate enough to kind of work around with some young artists right now that have, you know, kind of formed some new bands and are just starting out right now and performing. And they know these songs.
what?
Yes. And they will come out and perform them and like at karaoke and stuff like that. And I am just blown away. I ask them, like, how do you know those songs and you do so well? They're like, and they, of course, well, you know, my mom and dad, that's what they listened to. And so I grew up listening to it. And it just shows the influence of that music is still transcending over the last 30, 40 years. And I really can't be more excited for you guys to unveil this project. So maybe, just maybe, that's why you're still around, buddy. We need this in our lives.
So,
Besides, you need to also maybe run for president too. I think you need to hear for many
Oh,
reasons.
he doesn't need that stress on his heart.
now listen, a few years back, we did an Alzheimer's gig at the Joyo, and I knew that the news was going to be there, and everybody's made this joke that I should run for mayor of this town with my connections. So I had Bretta for mayor t-shirts made, and I made everybody wear them at this benefit. So the news is there, and there's all these Bretta for mayor t-shirts, and I felt like maybe I was stealing the Alzheimer's thunder, but sometimes a rock star don't care.
It's freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, I still got the shirts if you'd like.
I do. You know what? Maybe that's like a sign. You probably should run for mayor, or at least like the band mayor. Like you could be.
Well, that is my Instagram handle, Mayor of Rocktown.
Oh, well, there you go.
True story. And Randy, to know that these young kids know this music. Cain and I had a talk before the program about this revival, and I think that your show, Scratch the Vinyl, is part of this revival. I'm hoping this thing just takes off huge for you guys because I love the show and I relate to it. Every single week I find something to relate to. To have these kids knowing these songs, we have to have this. You know?
It blows me away. It blows me away. Because I always feel like I secretly love this alone.
You found your brother. You found your brother.
And then I get excited when I see these kids kind of like bring it back, and I'll talk to them about. They're like, "Oh, we love that," and I'm like, "Wow!" And it just shows you. To me, it just shows the power of music, or just what really, to me, good music. And we talk about that a lot on the show, where so many things have changed, and AI is affecting, and the way the streaming of music now is different. There was just something about the core music and the lyrics, those bands that I used to follow back in the, in the 70s and 80s, even into the 90s. Just, man, it was just such great music.
Yep. And you had Andrew Stanley on a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about writing his song about his girlfriend and breaking up. And I'm like, dude, you're speaking my 80s love language, and you don't even know it, kid, because he's a whole 2 generations removed from us, but that kid can write songs. He's super talented, and I just love him. He's a sweet kid.
Well, shout out to him. I mean, if you haven't dove through his catalog of music,
Right.
I mean, like I listened to it in entirety. I mean, immediately after I talked to him, because I mean, he was such an amazing soul and person to talk to here in general. But man, I loved every set. I mean, you can feel every bit of his energy and his essence in his songs.
Yep.
I mean, that kid is so amazing. I call him a kid. We're all kind of old-ish, right? He's younger than me, but what blows me away about what you guys are saying is like connecting to these kids who are listening to all this stuff now, right? When I was younger, I was into Limp Bizkit, I was into Korn and all these bands, Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I grunge blew my mind. I hated the 80s. Until I got older and I started to really dive into these new wave bands. The Cure really sent me down the path, and then Duran Duran and all. And it's like, for me, it was a breath of fresh air when I had a karaoke business, because I would start to connect with the music fans and the people out there and these kids. Yeah, but like a girl would come up with, who I thought would come up and sing before he cheats or something, and she's belting out Hungry Like the Wolf, like that, or Rio, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's alive. And this is stuff when you guys were younger, it was like you guys were hiding in the shadows, like clutching, hoping nobody catches you listening to this stuff. And now it's full force. That's amazing.
I agree with you, Cain. About the 80s. I did not like the 80s music, but I was in junior high. That was awful in itself. And all the clothes and the weird crap that we wore. And I think it brought back all of that. And now I appreciate it. I appreciate the 80s music. I love it so much. My kids love it. And my oldest, he's 23. He likes all kinds of music, but it's because of us giving them that opportunity to listen to the 80s and say, your mom was pretty cool in junior high. It's a lie.
You're not going to have a choice, Brooke, because Shides and I are going to drag you along with our Flux Radio.
Hell yeah.
Richard touched on this though in kind of telling his story, and that's why I related to it so well, is that the 80s has such a wide range of different music. I mean, the difference between hair bands, new wave, punk, metal. I mean, metal isn't what it used to be. I mean, I used to think AC/DC was heavy metal. I mean, that's just hard rock, man. And so I think people find themselves liking different pieces of the 80s. And because it was a time period that had such a wide, and there were power ballads like all over the place. Like, I think it was just a different time frame, and there's a different piece for everybody.
Yeah, and I think we take for granted when it's happening during the time, and then when we look back, you're like, oh yeah, that was actually pretty cool. And that's kind of how I feel with the 80s. Like, I want like a side pony and pink hair right now.
I'd like to see that.
You could have dressed up as Cyndi Lauper, Brooke.
Hell yeah.
We were wearing Jenkos, right? And like a corn shirt and just acting like we hated the world.
Yeah. I still had my 9-inch nails and my Doc Martens, and hell yeah, you know, like, I don't give a shit about 80s. Oh, no, I love it. Now I'm sweeping the floor to Duran Duran.
Now I tear up the Firehouse, you know, when I all this, like every time I hear, I'm just like, here come the tears rolling down. Now I'm a Carpenters fan. Like, what did I become?
Yes. Yes. All of the above.
We are this is how it happens. We're having such a great time that it's starting to wind down, unfortunately. So we do want to touch on the benefit one more time before we have to end the show. Tell everybody once again where we can see it, where we can all get together, help you out. Where's this happening again? What's the date? And then we're gonna have to say our goodbyes.
12/12, December the 12th. It's a Thursday night, which is, I think, still one of the best nights to come out and party. It's at Tanks South, and right around 7 p.m. I'm not exactly sure of all the details because, like I said, I've just opened my heart and mind to let this happen. And
we'll put it on Scratch the Vinyl. We'll keep in contact. We'll get the exact time, address, all of it. We'll put it on there for you.
Oh, that'd be amazing, guys. Yeah. I'm so grateful for what you're doing for the music community. And for me in general today, I'm overwhelmed. I'm pretty emotional about it, and keep doing this show. I love it. I think we need it. Randy, keep working with those kids. Brooke, keep being amazing and do what you and I do and have done forever. Cain, bringing awareness to the local music scene again. I mean, my musician friends are calling me all the time. Are you listening to Cain's show? Yeah. So, awesome. Brother, Cain, it's working. You're reaching people you don't even know you're reaching. I love this. So thank you for having me.
Well, I know this is literally just scratching the vinyl. So I look forward to getting you back with these future projects. So I know this isn't goodbye for sure when it comes to this episode. So, man, the best of health to you. Keep recovering. Enjoy this benefit. And glad you're still around, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
We're definitely going to see you that night. I'm going to be there. And I'm sure Cain and Randy are they don't have something like work or something dumb. Then we're all going to be there just to support you, the community, all of it. We love you so much, Richard.
Yeah. Thanks, dear. I love you. And guys, if you can make it, we'll blow Scratch the Vinyl up that night. You know, I think we'll just raise awareness for all of it that night. And Cain, this is about you too. So,
well, from one Broken Hearts Club member to another, welcome to the elite group. And it's amazing to meet you and get to talk before the show and just get to know each other. And I hope that this is the beginning of a great friendship with each other. And this is only a part one on this. We'll definitely have Richard back at some point, and we'll kind of scratch the vinyl on him and really dig deep into what makes Richard do what Richard does. So thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. We love you guys so much. You guys are blowing this show up. Let's blow up this benefit. And for God's sakes, come back next week as we bring on another amazing guest and we do what we always do, which is
scratch the vinyl.